Ladies and gentlemen, what is the definition of perfect? The answer is subjective. What I think is perfect may not be your answer, and your answer really doesn't matter because this is my video. In this video, we'll be going over 10 Nintendo Switch games that I think are absolutely perfect in every single way from start to finish. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Believe it or not, this was a very hard list to make. And I would take games off, I would put some on, I would put some on, I would take some off. But now I think I have the perfect list. Get it? Perfect? Before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me. We're getting very close to 8,000 subscribers, and once I hit 8,000, I will be giving away a Switch game to show my gratitude. So thank you guys so much for the support, and let's just go ahead and get right into this video. Zelda. I mean, what do we do here, right? Do we pick Breath of the Wild? Do we go Tears of the Kingdom? It's so hard. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Which one do we choose? Well, it turns out we don't choose either one. The Zelda game that's on this list is the Link's Awakening remake. Link's Awakening is such a charming game. It was great all the way back on the Game Boy, but the Link's Awakening remake we got on the Switch, in my opinion, is absolutely perfect. The gameplay, the story, the music, the art style, everything, every single way you look at it is absolutely flawless. This is one of my favorite games of all time. This is one of the best Switch games of all time, and I truly couldn't find a single flaw in this entire game. What they've done here is truly remarkable, and they just added on to something that was already perfect in my opinion. And sometimes people will ask me like, hey, I want to get into Zelda, should I start with Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom? And that's probably the worst place you can start in the Zelda universe and lore and franchise. I think Link's Awakening is the perfect entry, and it's probably got the most replayability. Like, you could beat this game and start it right back up again and just play it again, and you're gonna have fun every single time. It truly is such a charming, special game. Now, let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 3. This is actually the game that inspired this list. I've beat Luigi's Mansion 3 twice, once when I had my original Switch, and it just looked so good. I couldn't believe a Switch game could look this great. So as soon as I finally got a Switch OLED, I knew this was the first game I had to play on it. There are certain games that you'll play that'll always give you a certain feeling, and you'll look back on them and be like, you know what, that was such a great time. And every time I play Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm having that feeling, because this is just a perfect game. I like how each floor is like its own game, its own universe basically. The gameplay is fantastic. Luigi is the perfect sidekick, and Luigi's Mansion 3, in my opinion, is the definition of a perfect game. Now, let's talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is, in fact, the best Mario Kart of all time. It's the perfect Mario Kart. You go underwater, you fly in the air, you race on tracks. It has a million bonus courses, new characters, every kind of kart or motorcycle you can imagine. And the number one reason I feel like this is a perfect game is because when you think on it, how could you possibly improve this? My favorite Mario Kart of all time is Double Dash, so maybe on the next Mario Kart they could add that feature again, but honestly I just don't know how you could make this a better game. This is in fact a 10-year-old game because this was originally on the Wii U. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out in 2017, but all things considered, this is a 10-year-old game, and look how amazing it still looks. If this game came out today, people would be impressed, and it easily made an appearance on this list. So another game that is technically a Wii U game is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Again, look how amazing this game looks. It's beautiful, and for some reason I feel like this is an underrated or underappreciated Switch game. But from start to finish, it's absolutely perfect. Like, I'm very nostalgic for Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Country is in fact one of my favorite games of all time. So when I played this on the Switch, it was a callback to all the great Donkey Kongs before, but it showed you how impressive this series could become. It gets a little tricky and hard in some places, and that's what's great about it. It has the perfect difficulty curve, and I truly couldn't believe Donkey Kong had came this far. Of course I want a new Donkey Kong game in the future, but I don't know how they're going to make it better than this, because this one is absolutely perfect. So since the beginning of gaming, there's been tons of farming simulators, and you would think that I would put Animal Crossing on here, but it just doesn't do it for me. Now Stardew Valley, that does everything and more. Stardew Valley is the perfect farming simulator game because it adds like a life simulator on it as well, and it's just the mixture of so many things coming together into the perfect combination. Like, every single thing you do in this game feels so important, whether it's tending to your farm, building relationships in the town, or fighting in these caves and dungeons. Like, everything feels so serious, and you want to take it so serious because you care about what's going on so much. When the seasons change, it really feels like the seasons are changing outside in the real world. I truly wish we had like 100 hours in every single day Because if we did, I could spend a lot more time playing Stardew Valley, because unfortunately it feels like it's a game that you have to dedicate a long time to, and as being a YouTuber, it just doesn't work out for me that way. That's like one of the worst things about making YouTube videos and taking this so serious, is you treat it like a real job, so you have a little less time to play the games you actually appreciate. But if I had extra time, I would spend easily 10 hours every single day in Stardew Valley just to see what's possible, because everything is possible. Super Smash Bros. Has came so far. From the inception on Nintendo 64 to the Switch, it has truly got better every single generation. Super Smash Bros. Melee is my favorite for no real reason other than I think I'm just nostalgic for it. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, well hey, now we have a perfect game. I can't believe how massive and how impressive Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is. And it's really taken the Smash world and community to the next level. Like, this thing is a cultural phenomenon. It has gaming tournaments all around the world. Like, if you're really good at Smash, that's something to brag about in the gaming world. Every time I go to like an anime or gaming convention, they have a whole room set up for Super Smash Bros. And it truly is like the perfect combination of just so many franchises coming together. I used to think I was good at Smash, and maybe I was at some point, but now when I go back and play it, I realize how awful I am. And if you play somebody online, you'll just realize how good you can be at this game. Every single character, every single course, all the little mini games, it's like a little stew, and it brewed together. And it truly did make the perfect Super Smash Bros. Game. I guess that's the way I'm categorizing a lot of these games, is how could you make this better? And if you can't make something better, well in fact, it is perfect. So yeah, Smash Bros. Ultimate, easily on this list. So a game that feels like an experience, that is an experience, it's something very special, is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a perfect video game. It takes you out of whatever reality you're in and takes you into this beautiful atmospheric world where every single corner is a new mystery to unravel, and it's something that I wish I could make everybody experience. I do want to go back and play this before Hollow Knight Silksong comes out, whenever that is. I don't know, that's indefinitely just coming out sometime. But on this channel I've made very few videos about just single video games, like a video dedicated to a game, but I had to make one about Hollow Knight because it just made me feel something I don't think I've ever felt in gaming before or since then. Whatever Team Cherry did is perfect. I'm sure Hollow Knight Silksong will be just as good, but I don't think it could be better, because this is a perfect game. And how could you possibly make something better than this? There's a lot of Mario games to choose from, and 3D World and Bowser's Fury is my favorite. But we have to keep it real. They're not perfect. In my opinion, Super Mario Odyssey from start to finish is absolutely perfect. It falls into the same category as how can you possibly make this better? Every single level felt like a full-on adventure. It had me grinning from ear to ear. I've beat the game 2 or 3 times. Just talking about it right now, I would love to rebeat it again. It shows you how far Mario has came as a series. New Donk City is probably in the top 3 best video game levels of all time. And yeah, this is going to be a short entry because it would take me like 50 hours to explain why I think this game is perfect. But the gameplay, the level design, the story in this one, just everything checks off the perfect categories. And yeah, Super Mario Odyssey, easily on this list. So the 10th entry. This one was pretty hard. I was like, what do I put here? There's so many things to choose from, and I'm not exaggerating or joking with this entry. Not only is this a perfect game, it is the definition and the threshold now for what remakes or remasters can be, because this is a perfect remake or remaster. I'm not sure which one. But regardless, I'm talking about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake. If you're like me, you grew up playing the Tony Hawk series. To me, they're really important because I've been skateboarding my entire life, and they just felt like really special to skaters. But I went back and played the first 2 games on this handheld emulator console probably like a month or 2 ago. I beat them each in like a couple days because it was just so fun. And while the graphics didn't hold up, the gameplay was absolutely still flawless in them. So you take that gameplay, you make it better, you make the best graphics of any skateboarding game of all time, and the best levels, and some of the greatest music, and you just add all this together, and now we have the best Tony Hawk Pro Skating games ever created. And that's a crazy thing to say because there's been so many over multiple decades. And before these games came out, I was a little hesitant. I'm like, alright, what are they going to do? Kind of a cash grab thing here? But it turns out every single way you could make this game perfect, they did that. They're still some of the funnest games ever created, And each one in itself, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 are absolutely perfect. But you add them together, now you have a perfect collection of games, and they easily deserve a spot on this list, and I'll stick by that. Ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned, I don't think these are the 10 greatest Switch games of all time. They're not my 10 favorite Switch games of all time, but from start to finish, I think these 10 Switch games are absolutely perfect. Down below, let me know what you think is the perfect Switch game. Remember, we're not talking about our favorite or the best, but just what Switch games you think are perfect. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you could. I'd really appreciate a follow on both platforms. We're going on both, and it's a lot of fun talking to you guys over there. And if you enjoy this, make sure you hit a like and subscribe. But you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.